All right, so by now everyone already knows the news. I am going to be breaking down everything that has just happened and transpired in the last roughly 48 hours around Casper. I'm not going to waste any time. We're just jumping in. So, Casper has been my largest holding by the amount of invested money. Okay, I want to make one thing clear here that over time, because of the lack of performance from Casper, a lot of other projects have overtaken it in value in my portfolio, which was not that hard to do. Now, we got the news yesterday that Casper Labs, the team behind advancing Casper, expanding it, growing it, etc., has now transitioned over to Hedera. Now, what does this mean? Well, kind of like what the HBR Foundation is to Hedera is what Casper Labs was to Casper. It wasn't the main ones that were really kind of the builders on it, the ones that actually had control. No, that's actually the Casper Association. These are the players that are actually behind Casper that are the ones overseeing the network and overall just making sure that the network is still running and it's still live. But we did get the news, right? A new dawn, Casper Labs is now Prove AI, and then they transitioned over to Hedera. Now, what do I take of this? One, I think that's a massive smack in the face to all Casper holders because this is coming from Brindle, right? This is the same individual that was pushing Casper so heavily for the last roughly 3 years or so, and also lied to everyone. Oh, there's Fortune 500 companies that are going to come over to build on Casper. Oh, the Prove AI product is almost here. It's about to launch on Casper. We have been promised the world around Casper. All right. And in this video, I also want to go over how much Casper I personally have, how much I invested, and so forth. So let's first start off with how Casper's performance could be linked to the team behind Casper Labs, now Prove AI, dumping Casper. I made a post over on X the other day when we got the news. Generation Infinity was the ones to really kind of break this. I said this is a huge disappointment for Casper holders and very big news for HBAR holders. Obviously, Casper Labs and Casper Network are different, but I can't help but feel deceived along the way and completely blindsided. For now, Casper is a hero or zero hold for me because I still am going to hold my Casper. I'm not selling it. And hopefully, something like Actus provides a sense of relief. I can't help but to be happy for Hedera, but I'm very upset with how the Casper network has been ignored for the last year or so by the team that was supposed to develop and grow it. They should be ashamed. Now, I have been voicing my opinion on the team from Casper Labs. And I'm gonna address that here in a second. Now we did have a little bit of an updated view on Prove AI. This was supposed to be the big AI project on Casper. I mean, they were pushing this so heavily along the way to all Casper holders. I mean, every second of the day, we kept hearing about how Casper is the network for this. And now all of a sudden, they flip flopped right over to Hedera. Now, as an H bar holder as well, I hate this because I hate the team behind Prove AI now. They are liars. They have deceived thousands of investors. And I would also say, even defrauded investors of their money. They have lost so many people money by blatantly lying to everyone. And I believe that this was their end goal all along. I think that they wanted to ditch Casper for a very long time. Now, I did say on X that all Casper held by Casper Labs, now Prove AI, should be airdropped to Casper holders, and it shouldn't even be a debate. Because for those that actually don't know, Casper Labs, which is now Prove AI, still holds a balance of over 300 and almost 65 million Casper, valued at $3.3 million. Okay. Liquid, about $168,000. Staked, they're still earning rewards on this, about roughly 1 million, and it looks as though they are undelegating 231 point almost 5 million. So they are getting ready to dump $2.1 million worth of Casper. Love to see it, right? But wait, I thought this team was committed, to having Casper become a very prominent network in this space. Yeah. Okay, sure. Now, they have received $2.3 million as of today's value in Casper over the time of being a staker. So if we think about this, how much of that was dumped onto the market? How much of that was dumped on every single solid move on this chart? We're talking about going all the way back to the bear market beginning, right? June 2022. And the chart wasn't looking bad along this way. I mean, if we go all the way back to April of 2023, Casper was still doing very good. There was still a lot of, good momentum right around this time. But then, and we even noticed it, missed deadlines. We were noticing a lot of missed deadlines from the team, Casper Labs team. Now they kept promising everyone, oh, we have Fortune 500, companies lined up. We're working with IBM on this new AI product. This is going to be great. This is going to be like the greatest thing ever. But every single time that we had a nice strong move on Casper, momentum would die down quick. And it feels as though now we know the truth. It was because of Casper Labs and team members from Casper Labs dumping Casper tokens. Now, I'm not the only one that believes this. In fact, Kevin Cage, big shout to Kevin Cage, he was the first one to really kind of assume that the team behind Casper Labs has been selling Casper all along, knowing they were going to abandon Casper. If this is the case, the entire team behind Casper Labs should be avoided at all costs and not supported. That would also explain why every solid move on Casper was immediately sold off too. Like I said, momentum was picking up around Casper. All the team had to do was deliver, but it feels as though they had zero expectations on delivering because every single move would quickly be sold off. Now, a lot of people said, oh no, it's because of the staking rewards. It's because of everyone, getting all these rewards and immediately dumping them. Yeah, that could be a very easy way of looking at it. But then when you actually look at how much Casper Labs controls, first off, they were always a controller of about 10% of the Casper supply. And they utilized all of this for, developer incentives, grants, things like that. But if that was the case, you're telling me that in 3 years, okay, $2.3 million led to what? Nothing? Because there's not much happening on Casper today. In 3 years, if you give away $2.3 million, I'm pretty sure you could have at least a couple good solid DeFi use cases, gaming products, something. But it feels as though we now know the truth. I believe that Casper Labs was dumping all along, and I think that that's why, we kept hearing all these things about a Casper hack and this and that. I feel as though we have been deceived all along. Now, good news. Is there any good news around this? Well, we now know that on December 1st, okay, we have here that we are writing to announce a significant change in the governance of the Casper Association. No later than December 1st, 2024, the current board of the Casper Association will be stepping down, making way for an interim board that will guide our network through its next phase of development. I'm actually very excited about this. I'm excited to see what happens from this. I'm not going to give up on Casper. I've given, if you are in the Discord, right, the free side, I've given my overall views on this. I'm not going to abandon ship if I can allow Casper to bounce back and become a strong network through support, through, pushing Casper, possibly, helping smaller projects get a little bit of recognition. I will do that. Okay, I'm not going to sell my Casper. I'm not going to give up on it. And, I'm going to go down with the ship if it does go to zero, for an example, right? But I think that this is actually a very solid move. And I think that getting rid of Casper Labs from this entire situation, hopefully we could get something done with these tokens. Hopefully they're not going to dump them. Maybe this could get, dispersed back to the community, maybe even given to a lot of the Casper Network validators. That way they could start pushing some things. Who knows, right? We don't know what the end goal with these tokens are going to be. I personally believe that it should go back to either one, holders of Casper, or two, go back to the Casper Network Association. That way they could start, utilizing these funds to actually grow the network, expand the network. But knowing how Casper Labs has been really kind of working, their motive here, I doubt that's going to be the case. This team behind Prove AI seems very sketchy, untrustworthy, and ultimately greedy. We have witnessed absolutely zero growth from Casper Labs. They have been, in my opinion, a cancer on the Casper network. So now that we have them gone out of the picture, we still need to be aware of how much they hold. Okay. We now have a new management team coming on December 1st. This is going to be very exciting, or at least no later than December 1st, I should say. And I even said over on X, let's see how the new management behind Casper does. The number one thing that I'm looking at is deadlines. Okay. I said, hopefully we could start to see the network flourish from today onward. Casper Labs has been a cancer for this network. The number one thing I'd love to see is deadlines being hit instead of missed, because Casper Labs, they have been one of the worst teams ever around any network in this space. They have pushed deadline after deadline after deadline after deadline and missed every single damn one of them. And we're talking about not in just the last 12 months. I could go back to 2022 for an example. Now, I also said, and this goes for anyone out there that is questioning how much Casper I hold, here is the screenshot from my Casper.live. I have about roughly $5,300. That's including the staking rewards. Okay. Now, if we look down at the bottom, you could see how much my Casper was worth about a year ago, where I was doing most of my buying on Casper. Okay, I initially had about $12,000 in Casper. That was that 1 year, that bottom one. I delegated. It was about, $12,008. Then I delegated even more, about roughly 8,571. We're at about $20,000. Okay, and then I redelegate it. All right, so at the end of the day, I had about roughly $32,000 in Casper in total. Invested amount, roughly 25,000. That's how much I put into Casper over time. And I did outline this over on X. I said I woke up and looked at the Casper chart. Did a little bit of a typo there. I said it was expected that we would continue to spiral after the news yesterday. Over the last 2 years, roughly, I have put 20,000 into Casper, betting big on what Casper Labs was pushing. That's the focus here, okay? What Casper Labs was pushing. The Prove AI product sounded great in partnership with IBM. They were hyping up tons of Fortune 500 customers, etc. I would never trust the names that blindsided tens of thousands of investors and ultimately abandoned a network they shipped or they shilled so heavily. I haven't sold a single Casper, and who knows, eventually maybe this will be a good thing. We finally got rid of a cancerous group of individuals over-promising and never delivering. They have screwed over so many people and have costed retail so much money. If only the SEC wasn't so busy attacking this industry, maybe there would be justice for this. Fundamentals only work if the team delivers and is consistent. The team behind Casper Labs missed deadline after deadline and didn't deliver a single thing besides empty words. Okay, let's see what the new management team behind Casper Network can do. Expect the worst, hope for the best. Like a captain, I will go down with this ship. Now, I also went and I found a post by the Casper Network team because, like I said, is there any good in all of this? Outside of just getting rid of Casper Labs, is there any good news behind any of this? Yes, there technically is. If we could have deadlines hit. This got posted yesterday. Today, we held the latest revamped Validator Connect call with our validator community. The team covered the following agenda during the meeting. Introduction and what's new with Casper. The Condor update. Listen, that's the big thing here. Because, and I don't want to keep clinging on to the idea that Casper could be the ADA of this cycle. Okay, it could be, technically. But until we actually see it happen, it's just something that people are looking to find a little bit of hopium in. Um, but if we go back to ADA during 2020, it was a ghost town. There was practically nothing happening on ADA. There was no hype. It was a dead coin. Nobody cared about ADA. We're talking about like March, April of 2020. Okay. Then they pushed a significant protocol upgrade, and then from that point on, the network just it just lit up. It was massive, and then all of a sudden you had hype. You had all these YouTubers talking about it. With this Condor upgrade, I think that this could be a very big thing for the network. Now that we got rid of Casper Labs, we have the Condor update coming. We have the Zug consensus as well, Virtual Machine 2.0 preview. Like a lot is actually happening here. And I think that if we could have deadlines hit, and if this management team actually gets to work, I think that Casper could bounce back. I think that Casper could be a great network. Now, the key word there is could be. Until it happens, okay, don't get your hopes up. I'm going down with the ship. You don't have to. Okay. I'm not telling you guys to hold on to your Casper. I'm not telling you guys to, keep your Casper stake. I don't care what you guys do. At the end of the day, the technology behind this network is still very significant. I think that it is one of the best networks around tech in this space. The issue is you can never account for what the management teams of these networks are going to do, what these, rogue teams are going to do as well. I mean, we have seen this problem happen time and time again. Hedera is also known for some problems with the team. I mean, this is a consistent problem in in this space. These teams, these people that are on these teams, it feels as though greed takes over. And I'm hoping that now that a lot of this is gone, we can start to finally build. And if I can help Casper become a very prominent network in this space, if I can help push small projects on Casper forward, I will do so. I'm going to go down with the ship, but overall, I'm still focused on a lot of these deadlines. Let's see what happens. I'm also going to fully support Make because they are still pushing updates around Casper. Casper Cloud 1.4.5 releases here. So we're still seeing some development. We're still seeing some things being pushed. Very excited about that. At the end of the day, big thing right now, if we're going to focus on the success of Casper, we need to be focused on what Casper Labs does with this amount of Casper. I think that this should go back to the community or go to network funding. They should not have this amount of money. They should not be able to sell this, and they should not be able to pocket this because this is criminal if they are just going to dump this onto the network and hurt the investors even further. So this needs to be focused on initially. This is like priority number one. Number two, the team that is now taking over Casper, they need to start hitting deadlines starting now. We're talking about zero missed deadlines for at least a year. Okay. After that, they need to focus on building the market, meaning they need to focus on getting some listings for Casper. And then from that point on, it should be smooth sailing. It should be very easy to keep the network growth alive. Well, all they have to do is push some grants, bring on some developers and, have some events, hackathons. They're great. These community engagement events are great for growing the network, growing the developer base. So, outside of this, is this the end all be all with Casper? Is Casper dead? Okay. That's a big question. And the thing is that the probability of Casper going to zero is much higher than it being, very successful right now initially. Because there's so much that we still have to go through. But what was the big problem with all of this? All paths lead to Casper Labs. Every single path leads to Casper Labs. Anyone that is tied to Casper Labs, tied to Prove AI, should be avoided, in my opinion. They cannot be trusted. If you are going to shill a network for 3 years, and it wasn't even a full 3, it was like 4 years in total, okay? If you are going to shill a network for 4 years roughly, promise the world deliver on none of it, and then at the end of the day say, "All right, guess what? We're ditching Casper. We're going over to Hedera." You cannot be trusted. You simply cannot be trusted. So with that being said, up, you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.